So I just finished watching Titanic. I'm just gonna do a little review of it. But so Jack, there's this poor guy, right? He's, I mean, the movie is kind of like a message. It kind of sends a message, right? It's also unrealistic as fuck, bro. When does the poor guy ever get the rich girl? When does that ever happen? But when does the poor guy ever get the rich girl? Ever. Jack running around like sleeping under a bridge. He was basically, well, basically the movie is about the Titanic, and it's leaving from, I believe it was leaving from England or France, somewhere in Europe, and they were heading over to America. That was the plan for the Titanic. And it's like so bourgeoisie and class, and it's so disgusting how the politics are. But in reality, it's kind of, it's okay, man. That's politics, you know. It is what it is. There's always going to be a class this difference between people, and you know, people are always going to be like that, and that's just human nature. But as I keep watching the movie, I start to realize small subtle details, like, you know, it's strange, like how Jack, he wins a game of poker, and then he manages to get the third class tickets to go on the Titanic, and then there's like 5 minutes left and he actually gets on, which is kind of ironic because if he had lost that game of poker, he would have lived. He wouldn't have died on a fucking bullshit Titanic ship, like a massive Titanic ship. Yeah, I mean, and also the ship is called Titanic because of its size, right? And everyone was looking at it as this unsinkable ship because of its size. Oh, it's huge, it's stable. You know, I like the movie. I enjoyed it. I kind of skipped through the cringy parts where Rose and Jack are just kind of staring into each other's eyes like lovers and shit. It don't even make a lot of sense, bro. It really don't. A guy that's poor as him, like he said, he has $10 in his pocket. He has nothing to offer her. I know how the world works. Yeah, but um, so the first class people, they live on the upper part of the boat, like the upper section, the upper section near the deck, and then the third class people, you know how in an airplane there's third class, second class, first class. It's the same. It's the same shit, bro. Like in a plane, you also have those kind of things, right? Like a class difference between people in terms of wealth and stuff like that. Obviously, money is how it teaches you the message that kind of money is super important in a way. Like without it, you're not exactly going to be looked at as important. Yeah, man. Yeah, man. Yeah, man. Yeah, man. And then there's the guy called Hal who's supposed to marry Rose because later on in the movie we find out that Rose and her family are broke because her dad died and left them with just debt and nothing else. And the mom wants Rose to marry Jack, not Jack, Cal, because Cal has money. Cal's wealthy, and she needs her to marry Hal so that she can get the money from Hal and support the mom. You know what I'm saying? So it's basically a plan to try and secure their family's future. She's using her daughter as a political pawn to try and survive. Yeah. Yeah, I mean, a lot of people have kids for different reasons, you know? In different cultures, people have kids so that they can survive through the winter, so that they can survive. You know, they have more kids also so that they can rely on more government assistance too. In today's world, that's also the case. Um, yeah, I mean, I don't know, bro. I don't know. It seems the movie just seems very classist. That's what very classist, extremely classist. Like, I'm first class, you're third class. They look at the third class people like fucking rats, dude. And then there's multiple scenes where Rose and well, I don't know, man. The whole movie is kind of like a bullshit little cliche. Like the poor guy, the poor pauper gets the rich girl, and she's not even a rich girl, really, to be honest, because it's all the name value, the reputation is what's holding them together right now. Just like in Game of Thrones, they called Rhaegar, not Rhaegar, Rhaenys, I don't know, the Targaryen guy. What's his name? Viserys. He was the beggar king. He was the beggar king. He only had the reputation of a Targaryen to keep him afloat. That was the only reason people were hosting him at fancy dinners. That's the only reason he was getting hosts. That's the only reason he was looked at as a guest. But soon his name started to fade. His reputation started to fade. And he lost everything. And he became the beggar king. But anyways, so what the point is here, Rose is the same as the beggar king. Sooner or later, if she didn't marry Cal, whatever the fuck his name is, if she didn't marry Cal, the whole family would be fucked because they don't have any wealth. They only have the name to rely on, which means sooner or later that's gonna run out. People are because familiarity breeds contempt. If someone keeps coming over to you, asking you for something, taking, never giving you anything, sooner or later the hospitality is gonna kind of like die out at some point. Hospitality is gonna just die out a little bit at some point. So, and that's what will probably happen with Rose and her mother, which is the reason why they need her to marry the fucking rich guy, right? But as the movie goes on, you start to realize, like, it's interesting how Cal and Rose are an item now, right? Because, I don't know, man, it don't make a lot of sense to me, to be honest. In some ways, wouldn't you say that's harassment? Like, he pulled Rose into their little cabin there and tried to sweet talk her into liking him. Yeah, that's happened multiple times in the movie. It's like, and then she was about to commit suicide by jumping off the boat, which she wasn't gonna do it. She was just gonna it was theatrics. It was just so she would get attention. He saves her, and then he gets handcuffed, and then she saves him. It's a nice little movie. It's a nice little distraction from the worldly events. It's a nice little distraction. It's a nice little distraction of a movie, right? In a way, yeah. Yeah, it was entertaining. I mean, it was entertaining. It was nice to see the little difference in class, right? And even towards the middle, and then in the middle of the movie, the ship hits an iceberg. It's supposed to go to it's going through Antarctica, but the ship hits an iceberg, and that's the second part of the movie. The first part of the movie shows you the class difference between the rich and the poor, and then the second half of the movie just kind of shows you how people are scrambling to save their own lives. People start to scramble to save their own lives, and the concept of women and children first. I never really understood that. Why women and children first? It doesn't make a lot of sense to me. So my life's not important because I'm not a woman or a child. It don't make sense, bro. Like, come on, man. That shit don't make sense. I'll try and get on a lifeboat. I'll do whatever it took, I'll try to do whatever it takes to get on that lifeboat. But also, you start to realize that the third class people weren't even allowed up to the deck so that they could go on the lifeboat. I think it was first class first, then second class, then third class. You know how it works. But even though they said women and children first, I saw a bunch of dudes in the lifeboats in the movie too. So I don't know. Maybe it's the rich guys that pay for the privilege of saving their own lives. But yeah. Jack dies. He dies. Rose survives, and I think Cal survives too. I'm not sure. I think I skipped that last part of the movie, but yeah, I mean, it was a nice movie. Would I recommend it? I don't know, bro. I don't know. It depends. Do you like cringy romantic movies where the reality of it is, bro? Let's be real. Jack would never get Rose in reality. What would happen is Gal would marry her and they would live happily ever after, even though she's miserable. But the money should make up for the misery a little bit. Peace.